Okay. So I guess I'm gonna probably periodically be peeking back out. The stream ended prematurely for some reason that I don't quite understand. But that's okay. That's okay. It does help having the door open. It's warm enough. Excuse me. I haven't thought of what song today that I want to talk about. I haven't talked about The Hermit by Richard Dawson. Maybe today's a good day for that. Let me get some more coffee. Oh, I shouldn't be drinking coffee. I'll get some more coffee. Somebody started a fire across the street. Like a recreational fire, right? So it doesn't seem dangerous. It's lower than the recommended bit rate. What's going on, Jack? How you doing? Did you have a nice eclipse? I had a nice eclipse. I thought it was going to be... I was like resisting it. The experience, saying like, well, it doesn't really matter. This is just something that everybody's rallying around because it is a shared experience. But it's not going to be emotionally impactful. But it sort of was. It was a beautiful moment. Such a strange thing to happen. You know what I mean? Like, because I was thinking about like looking at it, but I can't. I mean, I glanced at it a couple times when it was when the total eclipse was happening, but just everything just getting dark suddenly, and so like visually, an association with quiet, if that makes sense, when it's darker. But then people cheering, which I love, people cheering at things that are not created by human, or like where like a human is not, either things not created by humans, or where the creator isn't there. Like for example, I've seen people like cheer at the ends of like a film, but not like at a screening of the film where the, you know, creator or creators of the film are there. It was a bit shady, but didn't hit your area. Damn it. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't even like look anything up about the eclipse until today. And apparently Sherbrooke is like one of the greatest places. Was one of the greatest places, like right near the middle of the corridor. And like apparently there's a bunch of people from all across the world who came to the Eastern Townships to see it. Because, you know, we have like Mount Orford is not too far away and is a big ski mountain. Like you could see it in Montreal, but not like all of like the greater Montreal area, like not on the South Shore. I don't know. Yeah, it was actually pretty nice. It was a more emotionally impactful experience than I thought it was going to be. I don't know what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my day now that this is done. I woke up late. I canceled my appointment this morning. It was later than I thought it was going to be. It was actually at 11 o'clock. And then I remembered the conversation, which was like to maybe have it on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And the counselor and I quickly agreed that there was no fucking way that I was going to get there at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it was supposed to be 11 o'clock today. Hello, Jillian. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see anybody. Like, I didn't leave my house, my apartment, to go see it. But I heard the cheering, which is pretty nice. It really reminds me of one time one of my friends told me about how he loves listening to the radio when he drives because he's sharing something with other people, you know. And he told me about one time, this great memory that he had, that he was just driving and he was listening to the radio and it was Rage Against the Machine playing and he was like rocking out to it, and then he pulls up to a stoplight next to another guy who's like mouthing the same, I mean, he was mouthing the words of the song. And so he just like makes eye contact with the guy and like rolls down his window, and they're both rocking out to the same song. And as a recovering contrarian, I think that's what was going on with me, is I was like resisting wanting to participate in this because it's something that everybody does. And I don't know, I was thinking in my head like, well, it's not that impressive, and like I can just look at pictures and stuff, but yeah, that's not how it works. And I'm glad that shout out to Mojo Wizard for encouraging me to do a live stream for this event, which is like, is it really a weather event? Is it a weather event? I don't know, because it's not meteorological. Is that the correct word? I don't know. Meteorological. Yeah. It's not. I mean, it is celestial, but I think it's like at least tangentially related to the weather. I mean, I don't know. Oh, I should not be drinking coffee right now, but I did not drink any coffee yesterday. Woke up at 4:30 p.m. yesterday. 4:15 p.m. but got out of bed around 4:45 p.m. And yeah, I woke up feeling very depressed this morning. No, this afternoon I was not. Well, no, yeah, when I woke up this morning and canceled my appointment. And I also feel bad for canceling it, although I don't think I would have actually made it. So yes. The song, yes. I'm just gonna go and look at the sun for a moment to see where it's at. It's still about like half covered, I guess. So impressive. Today, I'm thinking about the song The Hermit by Richard Dawson. Ow. Which is probably my... I don't know if it's my favorite Richard Dawson song. It's up there. I think my favorite Richard Dawson song is Nothing Important by Richard Dawson off of the album Nothing Important. But The Hermit is quite impressive. I guess I'll link the... let me link the film, because there is a film that goes along with it. which I was afraid I would never get to see, but was finally posted on YouTube. It's a long song. It's like 40 minutes long. Yeah, 41 minutes long. Share this here. Oops. This song is great. The album is great. The Ruby Chord by Richard Dawson, which I guess is a part of Jack, what do you mean you're bad? I don't quite understand what you mean, but whatever it is, all is forgiven. Part of a sort of, no, I think it is like officially recognized by Richard Dawson as a trilogy of Peasant in 2020, and then The Hermit. So Peasant being about the past, 2020 being about the interestingly enough, being about the present of 2019, but also like foreshadows certain things. Huh. Losing connection to my camera. What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here? Jeez Louise. Look. Can I still be heard? No. Come on now. Wait. Okay. There we go. There we go. Sorry, my camera was bugging out. Oh wow. It's in like a way different. Huh. Okay. Well, you can see me. You can see the complete disorder of my. Hello, Eddie. Eddie says, "Hi there. I've been watching for a few days, popping in to say greetings from Arkansas. I've got half an hour off of work today. Just go ahead and watch the Eclipse, and the restaurants were shut down." Excellent. I think it's pretty nice that there are some places where, I think there's a lot of places that have been like temporarily shut down. I remember seeing a post from the local game store today, talking about it being shut down for 30 minutes in the afternoon. And then, saying like, yeah, just to let everybody know, we'll be doing the same thing in 2106 AD. That was pretty funny. Did it hit in Arkansas? Where is Arkansas? I don't know where Arkansas is. I know it's in the U.S., but like I can't situate it. To the west of Mississippi and Tennessee. Interesting. Very nice. So, Richard Dawson, The Ruby Chord, first song. I'm just gonna peek at the sun one more time. Just give me a second here. So cool. So cool. It's so somewhat covered. Maybe like a third covered or something like that. I'm gonna close the Hey. Okay, the sun should be back. I'm sorry about that. There is, I was just showing how messy my room is in my apartment. I guess I'll keep this up. For some reason, the drivers of my audio interface are cutting out. Let's see here. Okie dokie. So, Richard Dawson. Ruby Chord. The Hermit. Okay. So, Peasant being an album about the past, the distant past, the Middle Ages, led into 2020, which was not about what 2020 ended up being eventually, because there's no way that could have been predicted in 2019 when the album came out, and then I guess the years before when the album was being composed and recorded. However, it did end up being prescient to a certain extent, because I guess the pandemic, not I guess, I am affirming that the pandemic amplified already existing problems. Then the album The Hermit is about the future, and it opens with, the album The Ruby Chord is about the future, which opens with The Hermit, which is a 41-minute song. I believe it's a masterpiece of Richard Dawson's discography. It's so beautiful. The film is great too, but this album is one that I have to listen to. I can't listen to the whole thing because it's so long, so I'll either listen to The Hermit or the rest of the album. The rest of the album is fantastic as well, but I think The Hermit is really the greatest part. If we go and look at the lyrics, let's see here. I mean, it's about this, like, man who has to leave his village. I forget if he's, like, I don't think he's, like, excommunicated or something, but he has to, like, leave his village and then has this, like, psychedelic experience through these, like, cybernetic implants that he has. I don't know. Yeah, it's sort of the lyrics are sort of complicated. But, definitely check it out. Beautiful song. So I don't really know what else to talk about since I didn't really plan this out. It was sort of on a whim that I started streaming. Like I was mentioning before, I've been losing steam and doing these weather reports. I like doing them, but it takes up time. Not that I'm like lacking time, I've got plenty of time, but I'm just thinking back to the first time I tried to do these back in 2021, where I kept doing them later and later until I just like stopped. But now, that's what I did for the past couple of days. But I mean, Saturday I was very busy all day on Saturday. Didn't have time. Yesterday I woke up very late. Today I woke up late and depressed. So, I thought I would have more stuff to say about The Hermit. I can talk about Richard Dawson. Richard Dawson is a really, really, really good lyricist. Although he doesn't sound like Joanna Newsom, like his music doesn't sound like Joanna Newsom at all. Aside from the fact that both of them like have folk elements in them. I will say that if anybody were to ask me for a recommendation of an artist that can give some of the same feelings as Joanna Newsom, it would definitely be Richard Dawson. He's just such a good lyricist, such a great storyteller. His music is definitely weirder, but like, if you think of something like The Hermit, which has many movements, several movements. It doesn't even have that many movements. It's just, the movements are long. It's a very long song, and it just really takes its time, but it doesn't get boring. Like, I think if you're ready to listen to something slow, then yes, it's not boring. I mean, I don't know. I think that, like, you know what you're getting into if you're going to listen to a 41-minute song, song longer than many albums. And it just makes the transition to the different movements, I think, all the more impactful, because it takes so long, because you have so much time to spend in each movement. Because there are certain points where especially in the first half, where there'll be like long a cappella sections, and then there'll be like a silence, and then it'll go back in with the drums and the guitar in a really beautiful way. And then there's also his album Nothing Important from 2014, or is it 2014 or 2015? Let's look. I think it's 20. I would say 2014, but let's see. $2014. Did I say 2014 or 2015? 2014. Anyway, it's got the song Nothing Important, which is extremely beautiful. Also the Vile Stuff, which is a great song, and is a song that I think is more popular, it seems, than Nothing Important. Definitely a song that he played more often than Nothing Important, although I think that Nothing Important is a better song. I don't know, maybe the Vile Stuff is more fun to play. But yeah, this album is just Richard Dawson and his guitar. And it's very sort of like an aggressive and raw album. And that's the thing too with Richard Dawson, is that like he's so good at mixing the pristine and the pretty with the raw and aggressive in this really unique way. But I say it's even more that like his recorded work is rarely raw and aggressive, but if you look at his like live performances, like for example, what is that song from Peasant where he just goes fucking nuts when he plays? What is that song? Ogre from Peasant. You see videos of him performing Ogre from Peasant. Let me see if I can link a good one. Oh yeah, I mean, the thumbnail for this one is him just screaming, so it's probably pretty good. Oh, my headphones are not plugged in. Let me plug in my headphones. Let's see if this is a good one. It's got the guitar freak guy. There's one from him in Los Angeles recently. Jillian, you say that I mentioned Joanna Newsom recently. You got the Milk Eyed Men on CD. Hell yeah. And you end up really enjoying her voice and her lyrics. Absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, I love hearing when people listen to the things that I recommend, but if it's Joanna Newsom especially, have you listened? I mean, look, The Milk Eyed Men is a masterpiece. Came out 20 years ago recently. As recently as 20-year anniversary. If you get East by Joanna Newsom at some point, if you dig The Milk Eyed Men, I'm sure you will eventually dive into the rest of her discography. But let me tell you, East by Joanna Newsom, in my opinion, is the greatest album of all time. I said this in my weather report when I mentioned Joanna Newsom. East is just bananas. It is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Oh, this really fills me with joy to hear that you got the Milk Eyed Men. It's great. It's a fantastic album. Her voice is beautiful. It changed a lot after she got those vocal nodules after. Was it before or after Have One on Me? I think it was before, because I think, yeah, for touring for East, she really fucked up her voice. Let me just get this. Yes, Richard Dawson, live at the Zebulon in Los Angeles. Yes. Okay. There we go. I'll put it with the timestamp. There we go. This is... ES. I have no idea what you're talking about, but was that supposed to be a yes? I don't know. I keep saying Orge, O-R-G-E, which is barley in French of ogre. Ogre by Richard Dawson. There we go here. Oh, sent that on accident. What do you like to listen to, Jillian? Would you have a recommendation of music for me? Because I'm having difficulty sometimes in my life, generally, coming up with the motivation to listen to new music. I was listening to an interview with Matt Johnson, who's a filmmaker that I like a lot, who made Nirvana the Band, The Show. Most recently, he wrote and directed that Blackberry movie, which I have not seen, and I need to see. But he was talking about how just with time, like, and having, like, basically made up his, I don't want to say made up his mind. How did he say this? Basically, just like over time, and like as he started creating a lot more stuff, excuse me, because it's his job, as he's like developed as an artist and grown older, he's found that he would like look up new stuff and spend less time watching movies than he used to. And I find the same thing with music and movies and everything in general. I don't have that like thirst that I had when I was younger, which, you know, makes sense as well, because like I think when we're younger we like are trying to like form what we think is good, form our taste, form this corpus of what our sort of like anchor points around which like what is good. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, I feel like I'm explaining this really poorly, but I find way less motivation. It like takes more effort for me to like look things up and try new things. which sucks. But I mean, it also comes with the fact that, like, you know, I listen to music and a lot of it sounds similar because I've heard a lot of music. And also my taste has, like, solidified over what I think sounds really good. And even then, like, when things sound new, I can appreciate it, but sometimes I don't like it because it's also, like, inspired by or, like, references stuff I don't like. It's like, for example, I think that there are a lot of really interesting things that are being done with, like, younger artists in the mainstream, where it's like the first, like, sort of like Spotify generation, where there's these, like, weird mashups of a bunch of different genres. So we'll take this sort of, like, pop trap paradigm, but, like, add in, like, emo and shoegaze and, like, just you know, different rock styles. Or, you know, some of these artists just transitioning just into pretty much fully into rock music or country or, like, whatever. It's something I find really interesting. But sometimes it still has a backdrop, a core of Salut Catherine. What's up? How was the eclipse in at Patrie? I assume it was dark as it was here. I could see it very well from the balcony next to my room, which is pretty nice. But yes, it's like I decided to start watching Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I mean, it's also like an attention thing where, like, I have over the years built up these really bad habits of, like, shortening my attention span to the point where I can't even sit down for 20 minutes and watch one thing, which is, I don't know how common this is. I think it's probably more common now than it was before. And but I feel, like, sad that it happened to me, because I used to, like, for example, something like The Hermit by Richard Dawson. Like, I love long things. I love things that take time to watch or listen to appreciate, but I have so much difficulty. Like, I can't even, like, sit down for 20 minutes and watch an episode of something, you know? So one of your favorite albums, Jillian, of all time, is The Holy Bible by the Manic Street Preachers. You personally love their stuff before that, too. You can definitely see the artistic growth in that one. I'm going to listen to that album. I'm going to get that album right now. I probably know some work of the Manic Street Preachers, because they had some hits, right? Can't say I recall any of their songs. Maybe I'm thinking about a different band. Thank you for the recommendation, Jillian. Manic Street Preachers. Hey, they've been around for a while, since 1986. But this is a 2014 album, correct? No, it's not. Not at all. 1994. Maybe it was, like, reissued in 2014? 1994. I've seen this cover before. What is this artist's name? Is this Francis Bacon? Or what is this guy's name? Because didn't he have the... Wait a second. Content. Aesthetic. Janie Saville. Yeah, I recall this cover. It's such a cool album cover. Oh, so it says here, lyricist and rhythm guitarist Richie Edwards is struggling with severe depression, alcohol abuse, self-harm, and anorexia nervosa, and its contents are considered by many sources to reflect his mental state. There's definitely stuff I can relate to regarding that. Okay, so it's their later stuff that became really popular. I think I recall downloading this album at some point and not listening to it. Their later stuff became popular. Let's see here. Oh yeah, 2015 reissue. Interesting. So what about this album do you like so much? If that's not too broad of a question. They put out a bunch of albums. Latest in 2021. Oh shit, Richie Edwards disappeared. 1st of February 1995. Oh shit. That's crazy. Sorry, it's probably not very compelling, just me reading Wikipedia articles about the Manning Street Preachers. I think I'm gonna take a walk later and listen to this album while I take a walk. Because it is beautiful outside. Let me actually check and see where the sun is fully uncovered. Let's see. No, it is not fully uncovered yet. Not yet. What's open then? Oh, no, they are open. So you became pretty enamored with the story of Richie when you first discovered them. You related a lot to what he went through in his lyrics, which is different than anything that you'd ever listened to before. How old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when you first heard this? You know, I was, circling back to Joanna Newsom, must have been like 16 or 17 when I first heard that. I think it's so amazing. I mean, this is not anything new or profound, really, but the impact that hearing or like experiencing certain works of art at certain times can have this like super deep lasting impact. It just goes back to it. We had a brief conversation in the comments about art And I did comment a very long and sort of patronizing response, but which I didn't reply to, and I apologize. Sometimes I have difficulty staying on top of replying to comments. You're 15. Yeah, have you ever had any stuff that you were really into that you just sort of like fell out of? I don't know, like, or stuff where you think like there's absolutely no way I would have gotten into this now because your taste has developed so much, but there's still a special place in your heart for that older thing. For me, it's the band The Tragically Hip, which was my favorite band throughout high school and my early, sort of like late teens before I got into my 20s. I was so into that band. I was into that band because my dad was, and then he sort of stopped giving a shit about music, and yet I still was really into that band. Which I'm glad I was able to see them a couple of times. I mean, they're like legends, they're Canadian legends. And they put out some really good stuff and some not so great stuff, I think. But I don't really listen to them anymore. Just like in times of nostalgia, especially when I was still drinking, I would listen to them sometimes. I get nostalgic when I'd be drunk and I would listen to them. But Gord Downey, rest in peace, gave me the best advice I ever got, or like the most encouraging advice for like making music that I ever got in my life. I remember I met him outside of the hockey arena in San Diego, California, after they had opened for The Who, I believe in 2007 when I was 17 years old. And he spent some time talking to me and my friend after the show, which was really nice of him. And I told him that we had a band called Psychedelic Ramblings of Rich Kids, which is the name of a very old, unreleased, never officially released Tragically Hip song. And he said, "Oh yeah, that's cool." And he asked me like, "What do you do?" And I said, "I sing." And he said, "Oh, that's really cool. You know, I what did he say exactly? I don't remember what he said exactly, but he said like basically, you know, I was a part of like a bunch of different projects, a bunch of different bands where something really cool was going on, something really interesting, but it just never worked out because nobody sort of had the wherewithal to like just, you know, get up in front and sing." And so he said, "That's really cool that you're singing." And that was super inspirational, and I don't think that I would have continued singing without hearing that from him. And I'm not a very good singer, but I still do it because somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to sing. And I've just realized over the years it doesn't really matter that much how good you are, as long as you're doing it. I mean, I guess it could be said about like pretty much all art. If you have something interesting to say, it doesn't really matter how good you are at doing it. Or it doesn't matter if you're like the most skilled, because a lot of the times the most skilled, maybe I'm just like I definitely am generalizing too broadly here, but I don't know, I just find like often like the people who are the most interested in technical skill or are the most technically skilled tend to not make the most interesting art, if that makes sense. At least especially with music, like the perfect example is somebody like Jacob Collier. No, I mean, I don't want to talk shit about the guy. He's very talented, but it's just the least interesting artistically, I think. And it just speaks to a very a type of way of approaching music, like only, I mean, honestly, like even if it can go sort of deeper theoretically than other music, it's still like artistically shallow, if that makes sense. And you know what? I don't feel bad talking shit because, like, me talking shit is not going to have any impact whatsoever on this guy's success, and I'm glad that he's successful. I've not heard anything that indicates that he's not a good person, so wish all the success in the world to him, but it's like it's very like music school, first year of music school sort of obsession over theory over substance, which is fine, but I don't know, I was having like a conversation recently about music school stuff, and I don't know, just like I've not been to school for music, but I do recall a friend of mine went to university for guitar and then ended up not touching his fucking guitar for years afterward because he had been forced to like create this association between like pressure and performance and playing his instrument rather than what got him there in the first place, which was his love for playing the instrument. But also like he had tried, and I think succeeded in making interesting stuff and composing his own stuff, but eventually came to the conclusion that he just did not want to compose his own like music. He just didn't find it fun. I remember having a conversation with him the last time we really saw each other. We went to see Father John Misty together, and on the way back he was like, how do you do it? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, how do you get the like energy and the drive to just keep like composing songs and like playing shows with like no reward? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's just like I feel the need to do it. And I realized that he was like putting a bunch of pressure on himself, and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you don't have that drive, then you don't have that drive, and that's totally fine. But then again, even since then, I've been questioning like, how can I get that drive back? As you say, you completely agree. You wish more regular people weren't so afraid to make art just because they don't think they have the technical skill. It's not necessarily what matters. LOL. Correct. And I would say that some of the most interesting art and sometimes the most like emotionally impactful art has come from people who don't have a lot of technical skill. I think also like really interesting stuff can be filtered through a lack of technical skill. I mean, although I'm far from the person who makes the best art, I think I have created some good art, and I think that although I do regret in some way not spending more time and energy into becoming technically better, especially at like playing instruments, because there are things that I have to rely on other people to do because I can't like physically technically do them, which makes it tough. Just relying on other people makes everything more complicated. I do like that I learned how to make music through like sort of brute force, because it makes the kind of stuff I think that I do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, sometimes lacking technical skill makes it so that you sort of have to figure out how to do things in like an alternative way, and through that brute force approach, things turn out differently. Like you'll get a similar end result, but it's not quite the same. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't think I'm explaining it really well. But in any case, I mean, I think about like when I like composing and playing keyboards in Hoodooed, definitely some of the keyboard parts that I came up with, I think were somewhat more like idiosyncratic because I'm not just, because I mean, I essentially learned to play the keyboard-ish through necessity, like basically because the keyboard player of that band, my friend Charles, went to Australia and sort of in the, I mean, no, I was already in the band playing theremin and doing background vocals, but they just needed a keyboard player, so I started playing keyboard. And so what's really interesting too is that I learned how to play the keyboard just, like I said, through necessity, but also learned to play the keyboard specifically for that band. And so it ended up really shaping the sound, part of the sound of that band, but also being like specifically in reaction to what was going on there. So yeah, definitely like I wasn't coming in with any like preconceived notions of how to play the instrument. But I mean, I don't want to like denigrate technical skill. I think that technical skill can, definitely benefit artists. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's interesting to see the benefits of both. Sorry, I'm scratching my eczema and it feels so good, and I know I shouldn't do it, and I'm still doing it right now as I'm talking about this. So where do we go from here? I think I'm probably going to have to stop streaming soon to take a walk. Let me check the sun. Check the sun. It is not yet totally uncovered. Not yet totally uncovered, but I think once it's totally uncovered, I will go out. Yeah, I don't know if what I'm saying is interesting at all, if it's clear. I'm sort of just talking. I haven't had anything to eat today so far. It's just coffee. Well, no, I did have something to eat. I had some cookies, which is not really food. I mean, nothing of substance, nothing nutritious. I'm gonna chill. Put this on. I'll be right back. Partake in a Vice, this carbonated water. So good, and yet so wasteful. Another plastic bottle that will pollute the world. Yeah, I don't really have anything much left to say. My throat hurts. I don't know if I'm getting sick or if it's just allergies. Could definitely be allergies since my room is very dusty. I have not cleaned it in a while. As I was showing earlier, it is quite a mess. There's also a lot of dust outside since the snow has melted. I feel bad for not going to my appointment this morning. It's not the end of the world, but like, you know, since I'm not working that much, I feel like going to these meetings or appointments is one of the few things that I can do that I think is like constructive and positive. No, not that I can do, but that I am doing that are constructive and positive. Because, I mean, I'm fucking trying to get better, but like the sleep stuff is not working. I'm not eating well. I need to get a job. I really, really, really need to get a job. I need to start applying for work. I'm just afraid. I was thinking about it today. Like, I saw somebody, was it this morning or yesterday? I saw somebody on Facebook share a post from a mutual friend saying like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Nobody's called me back. And so I saw a few friends share that. But the thing is that, like, I don't know, she seems like a perfectly employable person. Like, why? What is making it so she's not getting hired, you know? And it's like, once I'm already afraid enough of going through the process of applying for jobs, but like, if I don't get hired, if I'm then struggling to find a job, that's fucking terrifying, right? I mean, at least I have like the safety net of having some work, but like, I just find it really, really, really scary. But I need to do it. It just like, again, avoidance, that's what I do all the time. Avoidance, I avoid all the time. And like, it's crazy how life can prove to me again and again that is not a sustainable and viable way to approach reality. And that not avoiding is way less scary than it appears, and that it is the only way in which I'm going to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish, and yet I keep doing it. And yet I keep doing it all the time. It's just because it's like the default, right? It's just how I've been dealing with reality for so long. Sorry. Just talking to my friend today when her dog was freaking out during the eclipse, which I hadn't thought about. Like, was weird and impressive to me as a human. Can't imagine like a dog brain. It's like, but yeah, fear. As always. Driving factor. Should it be? No. Is it? Yes. I need to eat something. Need to go outside. And that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much going to be it. I've been streaming for an hour. Let's go back and check. There we go. The sun is completely uncovered now. Alrighty, that's gonna be it for me. Now that we're safely... No, the sun is safely unobstructed. I did forget to say that here in Sherbrooke, the sun rose at 6:13 a.m. and will set at 7:25 p.m. I mean, now that the sun is unobstructed, here in Sherbrooke at least, we will continue on with the beautiful blue skies and golden sunshine all along the way until the sun sets. Everyone, thank you for watching and have a great day.